What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in the last video I mentioned that I just passed the CCSA exam, which I'm still really happy about. And now that I'm gearing up for the CCSE exam, which is the next level up, I figured I'd make a video and show you guys how I use AI to help me prep and study for certifications. Because honestly, AI has completely changed the way that I learn. From planning my study schedule, to learning topics, to running through labs, and even building my own study tools. And no, I'm not saying AI is some magic pass your cert button that you can use. You still have to study, but it's a crazy efficient tool if you know how to use it right. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I use AI to help me study. But before we get started, I'd ask that you please like, comment, and subscribe. So let's get in. So just for a bit of context, I'm a network security tech working with checkpoint firewalls every day. And I've been slowly building this path to becoming a cloud and security architect. I've already got my AZ900, which is a Microsoft certification, and I just recently passed my CCSA. Now I'm going to the next level up in checkpoint firewalls, which is the Checkpoint Certified Security Expert, which is the CCSE. And before I start to dive deeper into cloud and other certifications with cloud like AWS and Microsoft or Google, and that's where this series that I'm planning, the Cloud Network Security Journey, will come in. But I realized, before I go down that road, it makes sense to show you how I actually study and manage these certifications. Because honestly, I'm not someone who reads a 400-page PDF and then calls it a day. Because I'm always experimenting, trying new ways to study smarter and not harder. Alright, so let's talk about how AI fits into my study routine. I basically use it in 4 main ways. 1. Planning. 2. Explaining concepts. 3. Lab assistant. And 4. Practice and recall. Let's go through each one of these. So the first thing I do after deciding which certification I'm planning on going for, like the CCSE in this case, is get the official certification blueprint. Then I'll take that blueprint and take it to ChatGPT. Then I'll ask ChatGPT to turn that blueprint into a study roadmap that fits my schedule. I'll literally say things like, I'm studying for the CCSE exam. I have 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Break down the topics into weekly goals and include review time. And boom, I get a full schedule that makes sense. Then I'll take that plan and tweak it. Maybe spread out the harder sections like VPN troubleshootings or cluster Excel, and move around easier stuff like policy management. What's cool is it helps me to visualize the entire journey, so I'm not just floating around studying random topics. Now, this is where AI really shines. Sometimes I'll be reading through the checkpoint documentation or watching a video, and something just doesn't click. Like the difference between packet inspection in kernel mode and user mode. Instead of just sitting there confused, I'll jump into ChatGPT and say, explain checkpoint packet inspection flow in simple terms. And then, if I want to go deeper, I'll follow up with, now explain it in technical detail, step by step, referencing FW monitor or inspection points. Honestly, it's like having a 24/7 personal tutor who adjusts to your level. Sometimes I'll even ask the AI to create analogies like compare firewall policy inspection to, say, airport security inspection. And that one analogy could make something click that took hours before. Now, here's where things get fun. When I'm in my home lab working on configurations or simulating some scenarios, let's say I'm building a VPN tunnel between 2 gateways and something just doesn't work. I'll describe my setup to ChatGPT, the topology, policy, and what I've tried, and ask, what could be causing the tunnel to fail if I'm seeing IKE phase 1 succeed, but phase 2 fail? And it'll walk me through possibilities like encryption domain mismatches, NAT traversals, or even log inspection tips. Now, I don't just follow it blindly. Of course, I go ahead and verify, but it's super useful as a troubleshooting assistant, especially when you don't have another engineer to bounce ideas off of. I've even asked AI to help me generate lab exercises like, give me 5 realistic CCSE scenarios that test VPNs, clustering, and identity awareness. From there, it gives me tasks to practice. And that's something I've never got from just reading a book. And lastly, I use AI to quiz myself. I'll feed it exam topics and say, ask me 10 CCSE style questions on VPN troubleshooting. Then I'll try to answer those questions out loud and then ask for explanations afterward. Sometimes I say, pretend you're the exam. Give me multiple choice questions, but don't give me the answer or an explanation until I choose one. It keeps things interactive, and the repetition helps with memory retention. I'll also use AI to create flashcards or summarize the topics that I've studied that week. And because I'm also a visual learner, I'll ask it to create diagrams or flowcharts of technical concepts that I can review later. Now, I want to make something crystal clear. AI doesn't replace hands-on learning or hands-on labs. You still need to lab, experiment, make mistakes, and understand why things are happening behind each configuration. AI is like your study buddy who's always there, always patient, and surprisingly smart. The trick to this whole AI thing is knowing the right questions to ask. When you treat AI like a study partner instead of a search engine, you get way better results. So right now, I'm gearing up for the CCSA exam. I'm building my custom flashcards, study material, all with using AI. Once that's done, I'm going to be moving on to the CCNA. And once I'm done with that one, then I'll move over to AWS, starting with their foundational certifications. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the AI practitioner or the other entry level certification, but I'm going to start on the foundational level and then the associate, and then eventually my goal is to get the AWS certified cloud security specialty certification. And during this process, I'll be documenting everything here, the labs, study material, and this will be a part of the series that I'm going to be coming out with called the Cloud Security Engineer Journey. And just like with my checkpoint certifications, AI is going to be helping me along the way. Because the more I use it, the more I realize this is going to be the future of learning. It's faster, tailored, and way more interactive. So yeah, that's how I use AI to study for certifications. It's not just about passing exams, it's about understanding the material, building confidence, and eventually applying it to the real world. And I hope this gives you some ideas for your own study journey, whether you're working on CCNA, CCSE, or something else in the cloud. If you found this helpful, drop a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.